What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. Just the general reviews I hear on it. It has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what Caleb told me, he said, don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping nugs that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
I'm Interlock Ian, and I wouldn't fucking miss the Not Our Finest Hour podcast for nothing.
Welcome to the beginning of the podcast, where I'm just ready to remind you that if you dislike this podcast, if you dislike Mike, who's obviously constantly saying aggressive and offensive things on this podcast, on April 23rd and 24th, we're presenting you with an opportunity to come and have it out with Mike and talk to him about the offensive things he constantly says at the National Heavy Equipment Show, where we will be recording live. Now, we know that Chad and I have such good nature that there would be no one that could ever be offended by us. We understand that most people will be showing up to have a go at Mike. We are getting Mike security at the show. So
just for me.
Just for Mike. We mostly think that most of the people who show up to be on the podcast are going to be coming at you, Mike. What do you think? Are you ready to take on the onslaught of people that you've offended and pissed off on this podcast?
I'll be ready. I'll bring my wall nunchucks and a jar of pickled eggs and be ready for everybody.
Mike will be ready. So bring it. Bring it on the 23rd and the 24th to the National Heavy Equipment Show in Toronto, Canada, at the International Center. And what's the code for free entry, Mike?
NOFH, or just click the link in the show notes. It'll apply the discount automatically.
It will automatically apply the discount. So I'm going to read this recent email that I have previously read to you guys, but then we were all... So we bid a job that is install only. We're not supplying anything. Just to put this in perspective so everyone understands what's going on here. Hi again, Jack. I just reviewed the addendum for this project, and they've revised all the interior pavers from a 60 mil to a 70 mil thickness. Quantities are the same. I assume since we're providing materials, this won't affect your attached quote, but just wanted to check and let you know about the change. Please let me know. Thanks and bye for now. Jack's response: hey, you're correct. This would not change the installation. Yeah, fuck you, Jack. Fuck you. 10 mil is heavier. Jack, 10 mil of concrete over and over and over again all day long, it might not seem heavy to you, but it seems heavy to us. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't be laying these. It seems heavy to someone because I might be laying these pavers, but probably I wouldn't be. But Jack, for the record, 10 mil is heavier, but I also probably wouldn't have changed the price. So fair enough to Jack. But I did want him to realize that they are heavier, that 10 mil of concrete.
I think now Jack has to come out and
take longer to cut.
I think Jack has to come out and move them around now.
Yeah, Jack can do fucking a day of 60 mil, and then we'll have him out for a day of 70 mil, and then he can decide if production rates stay the same. Would you alter your production rates for a 70 mil to a 60 mil paver?
No. There's no...
Mike, does it alter it in your software?
You can customize it however you want in the software. So you can. I personally do not.
Chad?
I don't. Well, there was one time we laid 5,000 square feet of 80 mil paver and Brandini collapsed in the ditch. Because at the time he weighed maybe 115 pounds. And a large rack of Lexa paver
Mm,
is like 90 pounds, 80 or 90 pounds.
they're heavy.
I feel at least.
They are. I bet they're that heavy.
If you would ask Brandini, he'd say pump the price on that. Like that's a lot of lift,
uh,
a lot of weight to lift.
if we're doing 80 mil pavers, say it was a 4-day job and we were doing 80 mil pavers, I would allow an extra day. I think production rates go in the tank after lunch on 80 mil pavers.
Yeah, they do.
Now, whether or not I would get the job, that's a totally different question.
Well, if you did get the job, then you'd be fighting through it, right? Production rates would go down. The
Well,
guys would be not happy. You'd get it, but you'd be fighting the whole way through.
yeah,
And then cutting it, my God, cutting 80 mil paver sucks. In a radius and shit, and then putting a fucking border on them and stuff. Not good.
terrible,
Not fun.
fucking
Following the
terrible.
curb, you have to put a soldier course against the curb with 80 mil pavers. That
You get a
curve,
large,
yeah,
yeah.
pain in the ass. Giant pain in the ass. We had a guy, he was with us. We used to get guys from like an employment program,
Yes, I remember this.
right? Yeah. We had one guy. He ended up dating some guy or some girl from my elementary school, but we just put him on that all day. And he was a big, tall dude, like probably 6'3" or something. And he was just keeled over the saw all day cutting these pavers. So, yeah.
I like your mention of his side quest.
His side
Not
quest.
only, well, he was working with you, but really he had a side quest of dating a girl from your elementary school.
Yeah. Well, we weren't in an elementary school at the time. We were all adults here. This is something like 20 years later.
But I'm saying that he's got a side quest. He's not only cutting pavers, he's side questing
Well, that's
using
how.
your previous relationship with a girl in kindergarten to try and, hey, I know Chad.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
how it
working for
ever
Chad.
came up. Like,
I'm
so
working for Chad.
the
And
girl's
she was
name.
like, "You're working for Chad?" He
I,
was the Tom Cruise of kindergarten. Like,
yeah,
I, she
yeah.
remembers sneaking behind the coat rack with you.
No, never, never. That girl was not something to look at. I remember she called
You
herself.
don't. So you're saying there was no glow up from kindergarten to when this guy
Well,
started
I
dating
didn't
her?
see her whenever he was dating her 20 years later, but he just came at me one day. He's like, "Hey, you went to elementary school with my girlfriend." Okay. She made a nickname for herself. Her name was Tanya or something, and she called herself Tang.
Tang.
She wanted everybody to call her Tang. Yeah.
Do you think a self-created nickname says something about you?
Well,
Like, what if someone self-created a nickname like PK? What does that say about you as a person?
Depends what it stood for.
I'm just joking.
I don't
I
think.
never. Everyone just calls me that. I never
I
asked to
think
be called that.
pre-Instagram, pre-social media, it would have been fucking weird. But
Mm,
now, if people just call you by your Instagram name, I get called Landscape Daddy all the time.
really?
So, yeah. Yeah. Weird. I was in the grocery store one time and some guy's like, "Hey, Landscape Daddy." I'm like, "Holy shit." Okay, hi.
It wasn't one of your employees, no?
No, no. They call me Daddy, but they don't call me Landscape Daddy.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang, you're known.
Yeah, I guess so. A little bit.
And the never-ending saga of my black Dodge.
Oh no.
So, so we took it. I don't know if last week. I think we're at the stage where we had brought it back to the dealership, and they said it was fixed, but they wanted to keep it for a while and then turn it on and turn it off and turn it on and turn it off. Wait every day, and then they kept it for the weekend, and they were telling me it was fixed on Friday, and but we want to keep it 2 more days for the weekend, and they came in on Monday and it did not start. The batteries were dead.
Hmm.
So then they got it started, recharged the batteries, and hooked it up to a monitor that monitors the truck for the battery surge and then tracks where the surge came from. And it occurred to me, why didn't we do this 3 fucking weeks ago?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this now? like I brought you this problem a month ago, and now you're like, oh, you know what we should do? Hook it up to the battery surge monitor, and then the computer will tell us where it's coming from. Oh fuck! Why didn't we do that 4 weeks ago? You fucking morons! So I contained myself because when someone has your vehicle, you shouldn't give them a hard time. It's kind of like someone bringing you shitty food at a restaurant and you sending it back to the kitchen. You're best not to eat it, pay, and move on. So I said nothing, but thought to myself, they're like, okay, so we tracked it for 24 hours and it was fine. And then in the 29th hour, there was a sudden surge from the radio and the TIPM computer that killed the truck in an hour or whatever, like an hour and a half. And I was like, perfect. That sounds cheap. Like, fuck, that sounds like $100 problem. I'm pumped about this. The guy says, so we don't know whether we should replace the computer or replace the stereo because it keeps happening and they both do it at the same time, or we could replace both. And I said,
They
oh,
not have like a radio sitting on the fucking shelf that they can plug in for a while.
There's no part. None of these dealerships have parts anymore because stocking parts costs money, right? Ordering parts and making people wait for their vehicles costs $0.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, they do it everywhere.
Why don't you take the radio out of your white truck to find the problem?
But I drive that one. I don't want it fucking dying constantly. So I say, how much is the radio? How much is the computer? Well, the computer is $595, which I thought was like really cheap. And the radio is $700. And I said, oh, okay. They said, but we'd done the previous work that actually wasn't the problem. I said, yeah, you guys did some previous work that wasn't the problem because you didn't hook it onto the fucking monitor.
Oh my God. So are you paying for the previous work?
So they said, if you do the computer and the radio, we'll credit you back the money for the previous work. But if you only do one, we won't credit you back the money for the previous work. And I said, okay, well, I was going to tell you to fix both these fucking things anyways, because the truck can't make any money if it's just sitting at the dealership dead. So no matter what this costs, it needs to get fixed. There's no other solution here. So I opted for the replacement of both with the credit back from the previous work.
They gave you a spring discount.
They should give me a fucking discount. They had a monitor, Mike. I could have argued I'm not paying for anything that was unmonitored and assumed.
Did you ask them how much that was that they're crediting you back? How much they were going to charge you for the work that they didn't need to do?
The previous work was worth like $420 or something.
So it's almost a wash between the new parts.
Well, that's why wouldn't I just replace both parts then?
Yeah.
And they're not charging any labor or something for they're being fair about this situation, to be honest. Like, it's just frustrating because you could have hooked it onto the monitor a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find an electrical problem that kills a battery. I'm just breaking this down in my mind as a mechanic. I can poke around looking at the 25,000 wires in a vehicle built in 2019, or I can hook it up to this monitor. You know what I'm going to do? Poke around. Fuck it. Fuck the monitor. You know what this guy is, this mechanic? He's me. He's got the software available, but he says, fuck it, and keeps using his yellow piece of paper. This guy is a man after my own heart that's fixing this truck. Because he's looking at the software going, that might solve a lot of problems for me. That might be a good fucking plan. That might be a great idea. That could solve problems. But then he's like, fuck this shit. I'm going to keep just poking around with my screwdriver, jamming it into shit until something sparks and go, yeah, that's a fucking problem right there.
So what you're saying is on your next residential landscape project, the client's gonna ask for a fire pit. You're gonna forget about the fire pit. And then when it comes time to put in the fire pit, the lady says, "Where's my fire pit?" You'll say, "Fuck. Well, if you buy the fire pit, then we'll do some work for free."
No, I would have to have done that. Comparable situation would be she would ask for a fire pit. I would build a outdoor kitchen. Then she would say, "I wanted a fire pit," and I'm like, "Well, I'll tear down the outdoor kitchen and I'll give you a credit for the outdoor kitchen and build you the fire pit and still charge you another $700." Yeah,
Right.
similar situation. Yeah. So then, because I I'm slowly. We'll have to see how the season goes, but I think right now Chad's in the lead on the battle between the new Dodge Ram and the old Toyota. I think Chad is slightly in the lead right now, if I'm being honest, which is tough for me to admit because I like to win. But so then Cody and Andrew had to go buy a bunch of parts for the bin truck because when we walked by her bin truck, well, Brad was doing a bunch of stuff to it. And when I was looking at it, the hydraulic tank was so rusty that hydraulic fluid was coming out of the rust. That's a bad sign. Sooner or later, that tank's going to explode, and then I'm going to be paying like $25,000 for some vacuum truck to vacuum up hydraulic fluid wherever that happens. So Cody and Andy were going to get some parts for the bin truck and a parts for a bunch of other shit that was broken. And I said to them, "Why don't you guys take the Toyota and give that a run? Hasn't been out of the yard in a week and a half, couple weeks." They said, "Yeah, we'll take the Toyota." They jumped in that bitch and every light on the fucking dash was on. It's like, fuck yeah, go Toyota. So back to the dealership, that fucker went too. Conveniently, they were already going out, so they just drove it back to the dealership. At which point, the Toyota people were like, "Jesus, fuck, this thing is back here." And they said, "Yes, it's back." Then the Toyota people said, "Hey, if it's anything that we fixed before, this is free. You don't need to worry about it because you guys were good about it last time." I said, "Okay." So the Toyota people called me today. What I have noticed about Toyotas is if one sensor goes wrong with them, the whole dashboard lights up.
Sounds
It's not
like
like a cat. It's not like a casual. No, the whole motor didn't explode. That would be a GM.
Yeah.
Unless it was made before 2020. Anything past 2020, I would not buy. Although Kelly's 2020 was a good truck. Anyways, whatever. It was diesel though. It wasn't that 6.2 gas that like explodes after 10,000 kilometers. So then the Toyota guy called me and he said, "Hey man, the reason the thermostat was going crazy and the heat in the truck was like the temperature of the coolant was going hot, cold, hot, cold." I thought, wow, it could be because the thermostat's fucked. Potentially. He was like, "No, the sensor for the thermostat is fucked." I'm like, "Why does the fucking thermostat need a sensor?" I was like, "Well."
Everything needs a sensor.
So replacing the sensor is going to be another $300.
Yeah. In for a penny, in for a pound. What's 300 more dollars?
That's what I said. Fix that bitch. Let's go. I've got no work. I've got nowhere for this thing to go. Let's just keep endlessly fixing this black Dodge and this Toyota. Let's just fix this shit constantly, nonstop.
Yeah.
So,
But it's
Black
like having
Dodge.
both things.
That being said, the last couple times I drove the black Dodge, it has that huge screen in it, which I don't like I don't like the big screen. I think it's stupid. You like it probably because we're the opposite of everything. That's okay. That's what makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Some people love the destruction of the Mac brand, and some people hate it. It's just what it is.
I have no love affair with Mac. I just think the new trucks look all right.
So here's the thing with that. I thought about that because we were joking, texting back and forth about it, or DMing.
Yeah.
And I thought the redesign of that truck to make it look like a Volvo with a dog on the hood, they did that for the exact reason that they will get people like you that have never wanted a Mac before to buy a Mac. but all the people who are actual Mac people will never buy another one. So what they're hoping is that they will attract enough new customers that like Volvos and Macs together with a dog on the hood. And then they're hoping to, because there's no way any actual Mac person will ever buy that vehicle.
Well, that's fine. They would have stopped buying Mac whenever Mac left America. Right?
Well, they still make them in America. They make them in Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, but they're not, it's just the name. They're not the real Macs, you know?
No, they're Volvos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think the only part of that truck that is like a, a proprietary part of a Mac, the only non-interchangeable part on that truck is the dog.
maybe. And they
The
put it
rest of it is
like
just
gold. Beautiful.
The rest of it is just totally interchangeable.
Yeah. But Volvo makes a good product. They make a good truck. But the problem with Volvo is it's a fucking Volvo. It sounds pussy to say. You can't drive a Volvo unless you're European.
I don't think they make a great truck.
They make a reliable.
I know guys with Volvos that are just constantly broken down in shit boxes.
Yeah, maybe.
And if you drive down the highway, almost every truck that's on the shoulder of the highway is a Volvo.
You got brown guys driving Volvos near you. So yeah, I can see that.
I personally don't think they make an amazing truck.
I don't think anybody makes an overly amazing truck.
No, I agree with that.
No one's ever bought a truck and said, "Wow, you're never gonna have a problem with this thing," ever.
Well, maybe if you bought one in like fucking 2007.
Maybe those days are well past us.
Oh, well past. Yeah. Well past. Yes. I
So
agree.
now we just expect there to be problems. Like we expect to run a deficit. We expect to have problems with our trucks. We expect shit.
One of the best things we can do is if our child gets caught with a shit ton of if our son gets caught with a shit ton of child pornography and is about to go to jail, what we can do is cross the floor to the liberals, and then they'll get rid of those charges for us.
Oh, just load up your pockets. Great.
We could do that too, especially if we're from none of it. Because in none of it, it's easier, I guess, to delete things from the court or something. But yeah, apparently that's the deal.
Allegedly, we should say allegedly.
Allegedly, that's the deal. Yeah.
I'm going to keep us out of jail because there's a bill coming that's restricting speech in Canada.
Oh, probably.
You're going to have to make a disclaimer for all of our episodes and just plaster it before
It'll be part of the intro. Let's do it right now. Let's record it right now, and I'll just cut it and put it into every intro.
Run it through AI, get us something that the lawyers...
No, it should talk about Mark Carney a lot.
Right.
It should talk about him, and it's supposed to snow tomorrow, which fucking sucks.
A lot. We're getting 5 to 10.
Whoa.
Plus I got to go meet a client.
We're getting... I had a float move scheduled that I had to cancel. We did a really cool thing today. The other night, my nephew texted me and said they were working at CBM gravel pit out in Colburn, and they do drilling, like deep drilling, well drilling. Mm-hmm. And I guess they're drilling test drills. The holes they're drilling there is like one of them is 180 feet deep, and one is 280 feet deep. I guess the concept of that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
To drill 280 feet in the ground. So I guess where they're drilling, they had asked the pit to build them a pad to level the drill on, or the drill rig. And so the guy just brought some gravel and dumped it all in the snow. So JR put the truck, which is the drill rig, there, and then tried to level it, and the truck's on the snow. And then he was like, okay, man, like if the snow starts to melt while we're drilling, that could be a bad situation, because the drills, I have a bunch. I'm making another attempt at a YouTube channel again, but I'm trying to do it better this time with editing and multiple styles of videos in one video, and so I'm attempting to do a much better job. So I have a bunch of videos of the drill rig because honestly, man, it's one of the coolest things I've ever been around. It was super sick. Theirs is a Kenworth T800. It's got this huge drilling rig on the back. They backed after we built the parking spot, which was, whatever, it was spreading gravel with an 8-ton and digging at the snow. They back it in. All the stabilizers come down. The truck is sitting like 3.5 feet off the ground, perfectly level. And then they put this drill rig up that's like, the drill rig was like 30, I guess the length of the truck. It's the whole length of the truck. So it was like 25 feet straight up in the air.
Nice.
And then they start putting these casings on it, and then the drill drills down and sucks the dirt out. And they have like an exit, but all this stuff is contained on this truck. The whole thing there with JR and the truck and him showing me exactly how, like, it looks like an aircraft carrier. The amount of levers and pulleys and keys, and him just showing me he showed me how it works, showed me all the stuff. I was like, man, this is the kind of shit that I used to like about landscaping or construction. It's just like constantly doing different things and learning different things and seeing how other things work. I don't really do that much anymore. I mostly drive around and don't use software.
Maybe you know it all by now.
I didn't know anything about drilling rigs. They're fucking
it's-
sick.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I don't like learning is this fucking Connect Team software.
It's not software, Chad, according to Paper King.
But it's not even hard.
I know, but I still don't want to learn it. Like, I'm trying to get all the guys to sign up, and Connie's not fucking understanding it, and I'm trying to fucking set a schedule, but it's a fake schedule because no one's fucking working yet. So, I mean,
everyone just has to put it on their phone.
Yeah, I know. And then some guys are requesting time off already. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, request for paid time off. Like, there's no such thing as paid time off. You're a fucking landscaper.
You have to set it all up.
Yeah, I know. So I gotta work on it.
You should also pay for it, because all the things that you're really going to want it to do, it's not going to do unless I heard you say something about 10 users is free.
Well,
yeah, we tried
free if you have
we
10
tried the free thing. It fucking sucks.
Well, I'm not opposed to paying for anything that'll make my life easier. I'll pay. No problem.
It's not expensive. I think with the level of we have, it's like $80 a month or something.
Sure, whatever.
This isn't like $700 a month AI.
Perfect. I can afford $80 a month.
So once you get the hang of it, though, it is good, and people will like it, because then they can see what they're doing the next. Well, it depends. Like, you've been very, very successful using the truck powwow every day.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I said powwow. We should have read an indigenous, like what do they call it? Land acknowledgement before I said that. Fuck. We need a land acknowledgement in our intro too. Anyways, if you like the truck gathering every morning and you think that's sustainable as you grow the company, then I think that you should.
I don't even have one truck gathering. I have cliques of truck gathering because some people won't talk to each other in the morning. So it's like this group comes and then they leave, and then this group comes and then they leave, and then this group comes and they leave. Like, it's not one big happy family circle in the morning.
Do you think that one of the things you could work on right now is making it a big happy family circle?
Culture.
I don't know. I don't know if you can go from not having that to having that with all the same people. I think some parts have to change for that to come in. It's not like we fucking hated each other one year, but we're really going to kick off in 2026 loving each other. I don't think that's how it works.
Do it bit by bit. Get Bernie Sanders to start a stretch one morning that everyone follows along, and then go to the company value chant that everyone has to do. Just introduce things bit by bit.
Yeah.
Boil the frog. Don't.
Yeah, I would love to have a company where everybody gets along and we do fucking barbecues and shit like that and whatever, but I just don't see it happening,
Do you think if you work towards that, your life would be better?
No.
Like, if you drew a line in the sand and says, if you can't, like you said, okay, like say you looked at the people that don't get along, right? Right now, like this year before spring startup, you looked at the people that don't get along and you said, okay, I have to keep the most valuable people that do get along, and the people that are undervalued, they can leave. And then you start, how many do you have? 10?
Yeah, I'd say 10, including
So say
they
you
get along with me and most
some of them don't
everyone
get
else.
along with you.
Well, most everybody gets along with me.
Oh,
Like sign the paychecks. Well, Connie signs the paychecks. Nobody signs the
we're
paychecks. They get fucking deposit.
we're looking for another truck driver, and I was like thinking to myself, man, that guy that used to drive the truck was so perfect. I'm like, oh yeah, he threw a phone at my head. And then I was like, he was so good at like he just did it. He could do small repairs to the truck himself. He was a good driver. He fucking would work with the crews. He could operate equipment. He could float equipment. He had an AZ. He could tow a trailer. He was just like the optimum. He was old and grumpy, which was kind of shitty. But then I was like, yeah, and I was kind of romanticizing. Maybe I should reach out to that guy. And then I was like, he threw a phone at my head.
Yeah, no.
There's got to be a line in the sand, and I think that
Is,
the phone in the head is the
is that
line.
the
Is
ankle
the line.
bracelet guy?
No, that was a different guy.
Oh, I thought they were the same guy.
Fuck that guy. No, they were
So
different people.
we,
So if you had a chance, go back to the original. Let's say you have 10, you have to take the 5 that get along that are the most valuable. And then that gives you an opportunity to rebuild your culture with people that get along. Would you do that, or would you rather just keep rolling with the 10 that don't get along? Because it's going to be a lot of work to replace the 5 that you let go, because they're obviously very skilled people.
here's the problem. The ones that cause the friction are very reliable and very hardworking, and they make a lot of money for the company. So we have other workers that are phenomenal as well, but they're slower and they're less punctual. So I can't weigh what's more important to us, right? Because we need to fucking produce, especially on the commercial side, because the margins suck anyway, right? So if you're not producing, then there's problems. You might as well not do it at all. So either I keep walking on eggshells and massage this system that we've had for the last however many years where people don't talk to each other and we don't have Christmas parties because people can't get along, but our margins are nice, or I tear it all down and have this fluffy company where everybody can fucking joke
Soft.
around.
Right now
Yeah.
you have a hard construction company.
I have a old school construction
Hard.
company. Yeah, like
A
a
hard
fucking
construction company.
yeah.
So I'm saying you have a hard construction company. And then you're saying if I convert it to a soft construction company, will it be better?
Yeah. Maybe
I would debate with you that a soft construction company is just as big a hassle.
I think it is, you know. But is there more potential for the future of a soft company than a hard company?
Yes.
Because you can bring in new people to a soft company, right? And not
Yes.
have to worry that, oh, is this?
All the bigger companies we deal with on a consistent basis are soft companies.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that. But it's a leap. It's a big change to go from,
Do you have a vision of NDL having 50 guys at one point?
no, I don't think 50 guys gets us anywhere.
Well, I'm saying it, but there are, like, if you convert to a soft company and grow it properly with a good culture and stay productive and profitable, and every crew you add is productive and profitable because you grow it the right way, would you have a goal of saying I have 50 people functioning productively, profitably, and functioning? Is that a goal, or is it like, hey, I'm
It
going to
could
run
be.
these
I mean,
10?
I can wrap my head around that right now. Is that the goal? No, because we don't have that workload. And finding the workload for 50 guys, that's that sucks. Like that
No, you
sucks,
have to
right?
have someone doing it. You don't do it. You have
Well,
estimators that you employ that do it.
Jack does it and stuff, right? But like still, imagine waking up one day and thinking I have to find work for 50 workers because right now we only have work for 25.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
at one time you would have sat at your house and been like, I can't imagine finding work for 10 workers when you
I know,
first
but
started.
right now it's organic, right? Things are growing organically. We're not forcing the hand of anything. We have work. If we have too much work, we'll hire one or two more guys, right? Fine, whatever. But we haven't set this goal in our head where we need 50 guys, you know, or we want to
Yeah,
do
you're
10
well, you're
million.
doing the same. You're doing the same thing I'm doing. You're just waiting for opportunities, and then you
Yeah.
adjust. You adjust, and you take advantage of the opportunities presented to you. That's what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. I
But
think
that that will never become. I don't think without a plan, it will never become 50 people
it'll never
anymore.
become 50. I
I think
think
there
it's
was a
hopefully.
I think there was a time, 70s, 80s, probably into the mid 90s, when what you're doing could have just worked and it would just stay as a hard company and you'd have 50 people there to be a hard company. But I don't think you can do that in 2026. I think you need to have
That's
a
okay.
plan. No,
That's
I don't care. I don't want to have 50 people, so I don't
now
give a
like
shit.
we are bidding against the monster landscape construction guys who have 100 employees and shit, and we're beating them, you know. Could I say the same if we were 50 guys deep or 100 guys deep? Probably not, you know. Things have to
No,
change.
because you would have the same overhead concerns
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of TikToks from Geoscape, which is a very large commercial contractor in Ontario. And just the amount of overhead that they're carrying to run a landscaping company, like they have a video of someone whose job it is just to organize the uniforms they give away. She's got a whole room and she's going through all the high vis and the sizes. It's an interesting video. um, but I'm like, man, like, what's your overhead like when you're bidding a job when you have a person who's dedicated to just dealing with the uniforms?
Obviously it works for them, which is great.
Oh, it
Awesome. Great.
does.
Go out
Yeah.
and make your money. But if I
Yeah.
have a lady organizing my uniforms and I'm going to see a residential client for a fucking walkway, a 9 by 16 walkway, and I tell her it's going to be $5,500, she's going to have a shit. And we're not going to get that
To
job. So I
be
have to cover my overhead.
to be fair, they don't give a shit. They wouldn't even acknowledge a 9 by 16 walkway. So like
That's, yeah, fine. But I'm not
like
there.
they wouldn't. No, no. But they were. But at one time they weren't there either.
Yeah.
They didn't just appear. Obviously, it started. I don't know the history of that company, but it started somewhere and it grew. And now they're being very open about all the systems and all the shit they have on TikTok. They're posting videos every day about every system they use and how they track their fluid usage. And it's interesting stuff because I mean, obviously in Toronto we see their equipment around. Um, but like I agree, like, but they wouldn't. They probably have a hard line on jobs. Like, we're not looking at something unless it's
Yeah.
$250,000.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. They don't care. Like, they wouldn't even go and talk to that lady for any reason. I doubt. Maybe they do. I don't want to speak out of my ass. I don't know these people, but maybe they do. But it's
Yeah.
just I was watching that going. When you start watching the shit that this company is going on, it's like, fuck, man, this is wild. Like how you but you're the more crews you have and the more people you have, the less you have to overhead recover from each person. Maybe I don't like. I don't know.
Likely.
Does that work, Mike?
Sorry, I'm just watching the reels of the uniform organizing that you're talking about.
Oh,
Sorry, you're saying
did
you
you
add
not
more
think that was
people.
crazy?
Yeah, it's
Well,
they've got quite a bit of stuff there.
they have a gym in their shop.
Do
If
they?
you go through it, they have a full gym, like a full gym in their shop for their staff.
Wow.
You were saying as you add more employees, the overhead head gets spread out per employee. So your average hourly rate drops, correct? Correct?
Well, I was saying in theory it should because the shop is costing you the same whether you have 10
Yes.
employees or 100.
So there's fixed expenses that the more employees you add, those get spread out. But then you get to a point where, like, if you have one crew and you have five guys, if you add another guy, they're not going to be like the efficiency drops off. So you have to start a second crew, and a second crew requires more overhead and more managing and so on. So your overhead doesn't decrease per employee, it actually increases until you add the third crew and so on and so forth there. But there are fixed expenses, like you're saying, like shop, mortgage, or rent, that is always going to stay the same.
Heated room where you store your uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with my accountant and my bookkeeper and my accountant's special unit, I guess you would call it, because we're setting up a holding company,
Mm.
which is something that, not that I know almost anything about it, but I think every company of, I don't know, over 500 grand should have a holding company or whatever, right? So basically, I approached them because I've heard other people have these holding companies. Said, do I need a holding company? Um, as it sits right now, my house is on property owned by the corporation, Natural Design Landscapes, right? Um, if someone goes out and fucking hits a car or a family or something, we have liability insurance, but I don't think $10 million is going to cut it. So once that runs out, they start going after other assets for the business, right? Um, just so happens that the property and the house are pretty enticing, I guess you'd say, for someone to go after if they think they could get more money. So I told all this stuff to the accountant. They're like, yes, we're going to put all your important assets in the holding company, and it shields it from uh, liability if anything happens, right? So we set up NDL Holdings, and now the house and the property get shifted over to that corporation, and they are shielded from any uh, sort of dealings with lawyers and all this shit when it comes to something going wrong. And they're like, yeah, you just rent this to this. And I'm just like, you guys don't have to explain it to me. As long as you can justify it to the CRA, then let's do it. So now we've got a holding company. Lawyer
Nice.
drafted it up. Yeah, they have to amend the articles of incorporation and all this shit, and it's pretty neat. But like, it's good going in there and knowing that they know what they're talking about. They can sort this whole thing out. Like, I don't even need to know, guys. Just like, as long as it's not illegal, as long as it's doing what I need it to do and shielding us, they're like, yeah.
How many professional athletes do you think ended up broke saying something like, I don't need to know?
Um, Probably a lot of them. I'm not telling them to do whatever you want with my money, you know,
No.
but like I will handle the money, but give me some insurance here. And that's what they're doing. So I would recommend go out, get yourself a fucking holding company. Anything that you own for the business that you don't want touched should go in the holding company. It's a great spot to put it. So
Do the cottages go in the holding company?
they don't have to. They're owned personally.
Oh,
And so it's me separate from the corporation, separate from the holding company. NDL, Natural Design Landscapes and NDL Holdings are sister companies, but they don't share any legal liabilities. So I think it's good. It should be good for us. And all it costs us every year is a whole other set of accounting books. But now we're
How much is
renting
that?
$4,000 a year or something, which is whatever. Whatever. But now I know the house that I live in can't be taken out from under me.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and now we can buy other assets too. Say I want to buy like another 50 acres or something, just throw that in the holding company.
Time to expand. Time to
Yeah.
go to start a satellite division in Ottawa
Yeah.
and then Kingston,
I'm close enough to all those places. I work there anyway.
and
So,
then you'll have 50 employees in no time.
no, I don't want 50 employees. Don't want them. But
But if you have 50 employees, then you're probably not dealing with the day-to-day headaches anymore. You have a manager who's like this whole like where you're I think you're envisioning you standing in the yard with 50 people around your pickup truck that don't get along, coming at you from different windows. Like you can all use the passenger side rear window. You're using the passenger side window. You're using the driver's side rear window, and then you can just spin like a clock talking to these 50
Yeah.
people that all fucking hate each other. But the reality is, if you have 50 people working for you, one of them is doing that instead of you.
You hope so, yes. But I
You don't
think
hope. I don't think you.
I
Well,
think it would have
Well,
to
maybe.
happen.
Yeah, yeah.
well, you sure as shit know I would try before I started hiring people to manage. um, what was I going to say?
How many employees would you get to before you couldn't do it anymore?
I don't know. You'd have to put me in that situation and I'd find out.
Like at 10 right now, how tapped out are you on your day to
I'm
day?
I'm comfortable. I can't be field installing and stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
comfortable project managing the crews, the 3 crews.
So could you double that?
I think so. Well, see, it's tricky for me, right? Because I have 3 crews, but my partner also has some crews.
Right.
So I visit his crews sometime and give them assurance and stuff. So maybe I have more, or maybe I have, well, he rarely manages my crews, but I get along with everybody in his company and they value my input, so I can manage their crews without trouble. So I don't know the number. If you really want to get into it, maybe I own half of a crew with like 25 guys, or half of a company with 25 guys. Between my company and my partner's company, there's probably 25 of us. So, but I only have to pay for half of that,
Mhm.
right? And he's got
Yeah,
a
but
whole other.
you're still involved with 25 people. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but you guys are partners splitting the load.
yeah,
So you got 12 and a half each.
yeah. And we have more equipment than you could ever fucking need, probably. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just fucking flying by the seat of my arse, man. And I like it that way. That's I don't think I would have near as much fun if I was following SOPs every day and trying to do shit by the book. I'd get pissed off that things aren't going right. People aren't following the right protocol or whatever. It would take all the fun out of being a landscaper.
Fun landscapers don't sell to private equity. That should
I,
be a quote. That should be the name of this episode.
That's a good one.
Fun landscapers don't sell to private equity.
my Whenever I was in that meeting with the accountant, he's like, "I don't know what your goals are. Are you going to sell the corporation in X many years?" I'm like, "You don't sell landscape companies, man. You sell the assets, you don't sell the company. Or if you do, you're one in a million. Like most of us, we ride off into the sunset with whatever bag of money we've managed to save up over 40 years or whatever, but there's no selling this little daddy. For
So
me at least.
landscaper would disagree.
Well, yes, but I'd have to pump hundreds of thousands of dollars into the program to get there,
You could do it yourself, trial and error.
aren't I?
Yeah.
Like we're taking a shot at it. But if
Yeah, but you already have a buyer for your company.
I do, who's
You
buying my
do.
company?
The person that you're partners with. You already have a buyer for your company. I'm done. I'm out. I'm selling you all the stuff. I'm selling you
No, he
we've
wants out
been
before
partners.
I do.
Maybe that's how you get to 25 and get a room with uniforms that you give away. You just buy him out. Say, get lost. Now I'm in charge of everybody, motherfuckers.
Pride sold his
Remember how you used
business.
to get along?
Yeah, I haven't sold his business. I
I
but he
wonder if he's
sold
having
it.
as much fun with truck sales.
It seems like he's having an all right time. But
Yeah.
the thing is, he sold it before the end, right? There's still time for him in his career to make money doing something else. This isn't, I'm 65 years old. I have to sell this company and live off the money that I made from the sale of the company to retire
Do
on.
you ever have to sell it, or could you just let it? Like, I envision myself being one of these guys that just slowly it winds down slower and slower and slower till you're one man surrounded by a bunch of shit complaining about how you can't get along with anyone. Because that happens to a lot of construction companies.
Yep. Yeah.
In my experience, a lot of construction companies grind down to some old grumpy guy who used to have 20 people, now is all by himself and still has some clients that call him, and then he dies. And then his wife doesn't know what the fuck to do with his shit. Like dying Armando.
Who's that?
That's a
Yeah.
story from like 20 years. I guess I've never told that story.
No.
I don't think. Let's hear it.
There, back in the day, a long time ago, like 20 years ago, when I worked at a company that was a landscaping company and half owned by an excavating company, there was another company called I don't know, it might have been called Armando Excavating. It's something like that. And Armando was dying. And so he was dying Armando. And so the owner of the excavating company, Mike is laughing so hard. The owner of the excavating company that I was working at, he bought all of Dying Armando's equipment from Dying Armando's wife, the wife of Dying Armando, who wasn't dying, to be clear. Only Armando was dying. But then, after all of Dying Armando's equipment had been sold and taken, but to keep this too, like Dying Armando was one of those guys that had a big excavating company and now was down to like one track loader and a tandem Mack DM dump truck and an old float. And I think he mostly did, and I think he had a dozer, and he mostly did like, grading around subdivisions and stuff. So the guy bought Dying Armando's equipment from Dying Armando's wife. Now, the interesting part of the story is that Dying Armando, he didn't die.
He's called.
Then he had no equipment. He didn't have any equipment. So then he was alive, Armando.
Yeah.
Dead inside, but still alive, Armando. And that I don't remember the rest of the story after that. I just remember the part where we would, oh look, we got Dying Armando's equipment. Oh, good. Remember that part of the story.
Dying Armando. What a fucking story.
I'm going to assume that Armando is dead now because this was 20 years ago. And I think Armando was pretty old when this happened.
So
It's called Dying Armando because he's dying.
there's
What do you
this.
want us to call him? Healthy and flush Armando?
Just Armando, I guess.
Vibrant Armando.
Yeah.
Vibrant Armando.
There's this.
Come on over here, Vibrant Armando.
When he got his equipment, he's rejuvenated Armando. There's this construction company in town. Well, just out of town. Little company, red trucks. Dave Brown is the guy's name. David Brown Construction. He's the type of guy you hear stories about, like, oh, he started his company when he was 16 and he had an open cab tractor and he would plow in an open cab tractor in the fucking 60s or something, right? Like just going around making his money. Grew this fucking beautiful construction company. I don't know, 20 or 30 triaxles, shovels, you name it, properties, a quarry. Like, this is what a lot of guys would aspire to be. He did it right. I worked for the guy for a little bit, actually. And now it's time for him to retire, right? Like, as much as he'll ever retire. His partner is retiring this year. He's staying on because you can never take the old construction guy out of the old construction company. Like, he's just there. He'll die doing something. You can't just sit at home after all that. But it's going over to new management this year, and I'm like, oh fuck, we do some work with those guys. Are they gonna forget about us? Right? So I got on the phone, like, hey, actually they called me, luckily before I called them. They said, oh, we want you to price this wall or whatever. And then I just started talking to the guy, finding out who the new owner was and stuff. He's the nephew. Shit like that comes from like an electrical background or something like that. Just gonna give it a go now. I'm like, yeah, well, don't forget about me. Like, well, we're happy to work with you, but now I got to make these whole new connections again, right? I thought I was good before with the old owners and shit, but now I have to make them again.
Now imagine if you that guy was dying, Dave Brown, how hard it would be to keep those connections.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
Dave Brown. He's vibrant Dave Brown.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's vibrant. He's he's the one who said you couldn't have tattoos and you could only have a neatly trimmed mustache.
Oh.
Yeah. Yet I got a job. Looking the way I look, I don't know. He never saw me. He also bought me a coat for free. Or gave me a coat. I guess the person that manages the room with all the coats and clothes was off that day and he just got me a coat.
The
So,
coat room manager.
yeah. I don't know if they have one of those. They made everybody else pay for the coats. They're nice winter jackets too. The only problem is they say David Brown on the ass. I don't know
Been
how.
branded.
Yeah. I'll tell you right it off 100%, I guess. And Heidi still works in the office. She's a hell of an office lady. Yeah. I need a Heidi.
I feel like there was something more to that. Like, she's a hell of an office lady, and then there's like an awkward silence.
She
So, like, man,
always she
I
would
would have said
always
something.
she would always pick up the phone like she was excited to talk to you. And there was a fucking million retards that called in there all the time about their hours and this and that. And she was always excited to talk. She's always happy. Nicest lady.
Here, chat.
Yep.
Built to Last, the private equity playbook. I don't think this is register now. Landscaper. Built to Last. It's a free live virtual webinar. So you can learn how to make your company free and this is free.
But
And it's not the top of a funnel.
if the whole process is going to be miserable, is it worth it in the end? I don't think it is.
In my opinion, no. That's why I'm not a stupid person. I understand the advantageousness of software. I'm not a moron. I just think that the pain of it isn't worth the unfunness of the software isn't worth the time at my age.
Here's the thing. I think both you and I are unfair to software.
Oh, 100%.
Because we have Jack.
And Jack uses lots of software.
And yes, is there software in our business? I think, yes, there is software in both of our business. It's just hidden behind Jack.
100% there is. I mean, you guys both use software anyways. Connect Team and Sage. But then also, yeah, Jack uses a ton of software.
But the thing with Sage is that it's not calculating my man hours and all this shit, right? That's still in my head. It's just basically it's an invoicing software. That's it. Because obviously, whenever I started, I used to fucking email people like, yeah, your price is this is your tax, whatever. Put it in a regular fucking Yahoo email. And that was as far as it went, right? 15 years ago, you could do that. They're like, can I get an invoice for this? I'm like, your email is your invoice. That's it. Because that's what it was, man. It was still fucking cowboys 15 years ago. So, but we do use software.
I think there's still some people that are running their businesses like that.
I think, yeah, and there's still some people that have no invoicing at all and it's all cash. You know? There's a million
How
different ways to
sustainable is that is the real question.
Well, I don't think it is. And I think it's dangerous, but Who am I to tell someone else how to run their
Like
business?
dangerous for the public? Like,
I think you're putting yourself in a real bad situation if you are running a cash business for any length of time and not thinking that there are going to be repercussions for it. Like if you can't, you have to be able to prove everything that you do. You can take cash, but is there an invoice to back it up? You know, like we want to sell this bulldozer. I want payment in cash. I'll give you a receipt for it, but you're paying cash so that I know I have the money, so that I know you're not going to fucking dip and then your check's going to bounce and then I'll never see my assets again. You know, it's, I don't know. We've been audited before. The best thing you can do for yourself is have a record of everything.
Yeah.
I agree. Having a record of everything is a good idea.
You don't want to show up to that meeting unprepared.
Unless it's a ledger showing how you're smuggling illegal booze from Canada into the States. If you have that ledger, you should get rid of it. Ask Al Capone.
Then you brought the wrong set of books, I suppose. Because some people have more than
that's the ledger that put him in jail.
Well,
who?
Al Capone.
Oh,
he got nailed for tax evasion.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. You didn't know that about Al Capone? Come on.
No, I don't know much about Al Capone.
Oh, so he got nailed for tax evasion. After all the crimes and different shit that he did, tax evasion were what brought him down. I think he was the first big person that got RICO lawed.
Well, that was the low-hanging fruit, right? Is the tax evasion.
Yes.
Because they couldn't get him on anything else, so.
There's a great movie about how they brought him down in with Sean Connery in it. I think it's called The Untouchables.
I haven't seen that. That's one that I've always wanted to watch.
It's a great movie. It's a tremendous film.
For 1,000 years, men will still say this was their finest hour.